sitting and the stars are watching you. You gotta ride the tackle with the moon.
Hello, welcome to Chatbox with Sam. This is season 4, and today we have the lovely David Fernandez Jr. He's an actor, director, and a producer. Good evening, David. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm
How are
good.
you?
I'm good.
I'm blessed. I'm alive.
You're alive.
Another day. Another day. Let's do it. We're blessed.
Another day on Chatbox with Sam. And David also has his own podcast, and it's Earn Your Life. And you should go to his podcast on Spotify and Apple, right? And
Thank you. Yeah, Earn Your Life podcast. Yeah, we dive in deep. We dive in deep from the beginning, and we just get open and vulnerable, and we just share whatever topic we're talking about in that episode.
So, David, are you going to invite me as a guest?
Possibly.
Oh, possibly.
Possibly.
I know you were going to come on the live stream with Danny, Sean, and Corin Nemec and Gary Carins. Obviously, you couldn't make it because you're a busy man, but that's how I met David, is through Danny, Arroyo, Gary Carins, and Corin Nemec. And then there was Sean McCraven too. And he was in Day Labour. Amy Johnston, Kevin Gage, and it was directed by...
R Ellis Fraiser. Roger Ellis Fraiser. He's an amazing man, amazing director. I've been working with him for many years now. We've done a lot of projects together, and I just love working with him.
I did watch Day Labour.
You know what I loved about that movie?
What?
You know what I loved about that movie? Is that it showed how us in the human experience respond, whether in an unhealthy, unhealed way or healed way. So even though nothing is justified when hurting somebody else, right? But even like Kevin Gage's character, what the pain that he carried and how it kind of manifested in that storyline, you know what I mean? It's like he was, he had been hurt. And so in essence, he was hurting other people through that pain because he never healed that pain. So it's so deep because that, to me, that's kind of how it's symbolic for life, right? It's hurt people hurt other people. Anybody that's in a happy place, that has peace within themselves, they don't have time or energy to focus on any negativity.
Right.
And the people that are there, once again, like, you know, in harmony and living in their heart space, they're lifting people up. They're like watering love. They're watering positivity, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I know how open a person is when I give them a hug. You can tell right away someone that's completely open and someone that has walls to protect their heart. Even when you hug them, it's like they're like hard, you know, it's like a hard energy where you hug them and you don't feel the hug, but it's tough. And it's just, you know, that's part of the human experience. It's part of the journey. But yeah, I noticed that in the film where I thought, man, that just kind of shows, you know, hurt people hurt other people. And the cycle needs to be broken when it comes to that, you know. But the hardest thing to do is to look at self and to do that healing work. It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
It's being connected to your heart, because it actually turns around and you realize, like, man, that hurt me. I wouldn't wish that on anybody else.
Right, exactly.
Right.
What was it like being on set with Corin and Danny and Gary and Kevin Gage?
It was an amazing cast. I love the energy. I love the family. It felt like a family.
Yeah.
Everyone was connected. Everyone professional, of course. You know what I mean? Everyone's super talented and gifted. So it was so awesome to work with so many beautiful people like that. And, you know, just being on location, it kind of bonds you even more. You know what I mean? You're all in it together, and we were in the environment. So it just kind of made it that much easier. But it was so awesome. Yeah. So awesome to work with so many talented cast members, man. It was a blessing.
And you know, I've just watched your reel and the Sons of Anarchy. That was another one that touched me, because, you know, any anyone being shot in the head, you know.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
my sister in
was it?
that scene. That was my sister. Yeah.
That's with Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, that's a big episode. That is, everyone loves Sons of Anarchy, so it was
Yeah.
great. How was it like being in that episode with them all there?
Oh, once again, that was actually my first major TV show. That opened up a lot of doors. That got me into Watch, Fear the Walking Dead, Justified, and it goes on from there. But I loved it because, of course, I was nervous, right? And of course, I go in with this sense of like, man, I really have to knock this out because I'm playing with the big boys, right?
Right.
And I had a really heavy scene in one of the episodes where my sister gets shot in front of me, and Ron Perlman, you mentioned him. He's such a sweet soul, man, beautiful guy, man. He I remember I was crying every take. I'm crying. I'm going in because there was so much coverage. There were so many actors in the apartment where that scene took place
Yeah.
that we needed to get so much coverage. So we had to do it over and over and over again. And I kept going in because I wanted to give my best because I'm a giver like that. I want to be able to do my part in that scene for the other actors to respond or react.
Mm.
But Ron Perlman, man, he's a legend, right?
He is a
So
legend.
after like the sixth or seventh take, he said, "David, you're doing awesome, brother. You took me to the side, man. I love your energy, and just to kind of support you, you don't have to go all the way when they're doing the shots on me. Like, I got this." I was like, "Oh, cool. All right, appreciate it."
Aw.
And honestly, I still did, right? Just out of respect and honoring him, I wanted
Yeah.
to give him all the juice for him to react and respond because it was a really heavy scene.
It
A
wasn't
lot of
heavy.
energy in that apartment complex. Yeah, so I just wanted to do it, but it was so cool. Like that made me feel so good too.
Yeah.
And then also the director, she was amazing. I actually got a little insecure in the scenes because when you're seeing your sister get shot in the head and basically die,
Right.
and when you're in those emotions, I got off script. And this was so beautiful to me because I got insecure. And when we had some time, some downtime, I went to the director and I was like apologetic. I was like, "I'm so sorry. I know I didn't do word by word, because it was my first time. So I was told you have to do word by, whatever." And she looked at me, she smiled, and she said, "David, you're here for a reason. You got hired for a reason. And unless I need to direct you, I will do so. But other than that, just keep doing what you're doing because I'm loving it." And that gave me the freedom. You know what I mean? That
That's
put me at
fantastic.
ease. That gave me the freedom as an artist, right? And then I was just able to just dive in. And I'm very proud of those scenes because for me, the process that I went through was I have a sister myself. She's
Right.
younger than me. So when the character portraying my sister got shot, I didn't see the character. I saw my sister. And so what you see on the screen was real.
Right.
They call it acting, but it's not acting. You
No,
have to become, you have to be in that moment and
yes,
experience it for
exactly.
the first time.
Hmm.
So I was seeing my sister basically get shot and die in front of me.
Right.
And so I'm very proud of that Sons of Anarchy, experience. It was amazing.
I can see why you put it on your reel, David.
Like I know for me in my process and what I go through in any role that I get blessed to portray or to bring to life, it has to be real to me.
Hmm.
If it's not real, how could the audience feel that
They
it's
wouldn't be
real?
able to. Yeah,
They,
they need
they
to be
wouldn't. They
able to.
wouldn't resonate. They wouldn't connect.
Mm.
And so I make sure that when I'm in it, I'm in it.
Yeah.
And that's just my way of honoring the craft and honoring everyone that's collaborating to bring this piece of art to life.
And then you were in End of Watch, and that was out in cinemas in November 2023. Would you like to share about your experience on set with that?
Yeah, it was so beautiful because when you're working with, legends, right? Like Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Pena, David Ayer, the director. Um, I was just like a sponge. I was just a student, just learning, like absorbing. And the humility is what I walked away from. The groundedness, the humility. I mean, these are like the top actors in Hollywood, in the world. And
Jake,
yet,
yeah.
Jake, let's say, for example, Jake Gyllenhaal, and so soft spoken, so grounded, so humble, so beautiful, like just a beautiful soul. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you wonder why he's been so successful. And he loves to challenge himself. I see it because I love to see his projects, and he loves to challenge himself, and I admire that about him because, um, you know, it's something that to be able to experience it firsthand, I feel like super lucky to have experienced that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a blessing. It's a blessing working with high caliber people,
People, yeah.
and then you understand why they continue to work. You know, people want to work with people that are humble, that are hungry, that are
Kind.
enthusiastic, and yeah, and of course have the gifts and talents or whatever. So I'm blessed to have been a part of a lot of sets with a lot of beautiful souls that are doing their thing.
Now you're in the Hollow Point with Jim Belushi.
Yeah, Jim Belushi and John Leguizamo, Patrick Wilson from he's known from the Conjuring films.
Yes.
Once again, it's that one was shot in Salt Lake City, Utah. So that was a cool experience. I had never experienced Salt Lake City, Utah like that.
It's very
They
cold
shut
in the
everything
winter, isn't
down
it?
really, really early. It wasn't that cold when we were filming, but that was a cool experience to fly over there and be on set with once again amazing actors. And I had cool scenes there, opening scenes where, um, yeah. I mean, you'd have to see it to know. I'm not going to ruin it, but it was a really, really cool experience. What's so cool about Mystery Girls is that I love comedy, and I don't get enough comedy.
All right.
And it was so special because, like, I grew up watching 90210, right? So Tori Spelling, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I was just kind of like, wow, here I am on a set, and it happened to be comedy, so I got a chance to play, and so that was a really cool experience too.
So, how was the difference between playing something so traumatic in day labor and in Sons of Anarchy, going to something in comedy? Was it refreshing? Was
Super
refreshing to the
refreshing.
soul? Yeah.
Yes, it was super refreshing and completely different experience. Um, and it just made it so easy to work with them. You know what I mean? I was just watching them in action. I got a chance to see a lot of filming before I had to do my scenes, and it was just so cool to experience that type of environment, right? Being on
Yeah.
set like that, and yeah, it was really cool. It was refreshing, and it wasn't as taxing as it is when you're diving into a dark layered character. There's a lot more stuff that you need to work through, right?
Right.
With the comedy, especially Mystery Girls, that type of comedy, it was just really let's have some fun, let's let loose and play. It was more like play, and it's always play, but this one was just like a lighthearted play,
Really play.
right? I'll tell
And
you two interesting stories.
go
First
on.
one on Lowriders, right? So I play the MC, and we're at Griffith Park, and there's like 100 plus extras for this scene. I'm announcing the winner of the car show, right? And Eva Longoria, Supergirl's in it. Theo Rossi, Juice from Sons of Anarchy, Demian Bichir, like the list goes on, right? Ensemble cast, all big stars. And I'm really good with reacting and responding. So I feel I work better, easier with the person because I'm responding and feeding off their energy, and we're bouncing back and forth, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, this scene, I had like a huge dialogue, and it was all about myself. And I'm not gonna lie, it was the first time that I had delivered it in that way on a big project, and I got nervous, and I was a little intimidated because the spotlight was on me,
Hmm.
right? And we had to do it over and over again because once again they had to get the reactions of all the other actors or whatnot. But just imagine all those stars I mentioned already, plus 150, plus the crew, and all eyes are on me, and I have to deliver this and this this huge dialogue. It was intimidating. I learned a lot, and I got through it.
You did
But
it.
it was a I know, but it was a interesting experience. It was different, and I didn't realize that until I was there and got there, and I didn't have anybody to feed off of.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So
It
I
was
just had
like
to deliver.
improv, right?
Yeah, it
In
was
a
just
way,
just
unscripted.
getting myself worked up and just getting to that place, but having Eva Longoria and all these superstars staring at you while you're performing is not as easy
It's
as you may think.
scary. Yes. It's like, oh no, what if I get it wrong? Can
Exactly,
I
exactly.
take
All the
25?
insecurities come up, right? All the human stuff comes up. But and then with Fear the Walking Dead, I thought this was awesome. I really was happy to create this experience. So once again, I'm in the scene. I'm on a Jeep with two other partners. We're outlaws, and the zombies are coming at us. And it's like 100+ zombies. So it's a big scene on the main road in Mexico. And I noticed that the extras were, they're told like, don't talk to the principal actors, whatever, whatever. And so I could feel their energy kind of hesitant because I get eaten up by the zombies. So I get eaten up, right?
Right.
But when they were doing it, like they were kind of holding back, and I felt that energy. So when we rehearsed it, I was like, okay, let me break the ice here, right? Because I remember being an extra, and I remember it being very intimidating, very overwhelming. You're in a movie. It's one of your first times, whatever you're going through, right? And so because I remember that, I'm like, man, I wanna make this a fun experience for them.
Right.
So I gathered them all up in between takes, and I said, look, we're in Mexico. Pretend I'm a big old taco, and it's free buffet for everybody, free tacos for everybody. Let's go. All the extras started cracking up, right? They started laughing. That broke the ice. And you
Awesome.
felt the
That's awesome.
difference on the next take. They
Yeah.
felt comfortable with me, right? Because I had built that rapport with them. It wasn't this like hierarchy of like, oh, I'm one of the main actors and they're extras. It was no, I don't see it like that. Without one of those extras, the scene can't be done. So I
Right.
see it as everybody's got a piece of that puzzle, right?
Well, it takes a
And
big
so you
cast and
saw the
crew.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort. And so you saw the energy shift, and then they really got into it. And I feel that's what sells the scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
it was really cool. I said carnitas for everybody. That's like Mexican meat for everybody. Let's go eat some taco. So I was just trying to be silly.
that's
I was being
hilarious.
silly,
I
but
love
it
it.
broke the ice, which was cool. Yeah.
You also played a Black Jesus. I love it.
Yeah.
Please explain.
I play this character named Jesus that just got out of the system. I don't play like a black Jesus. I'm just I it's just a play on words. I play Jesus, Jesus in Spanish, a character in Black Jesus. Yeah, it's all good.
I
It's
meant
all
it was
good.
Jesus. I'm really. You know what?
No, it's all good. It's funny. It's
I'm
funny.
leaving. I'm leaving that in just because that was a Freudian slip.
I know, right? I know. That's another comedy as well.
Well, we
So that
just
was
made
kind
a
of cool
comedy
too.
out of me calling it that.
I know, right? I know. Yeah.
To apologise, David.
It's all right.
And in other news, Davey's got his own website, davidfernandezjr.com.
Yeah. I got that podcast. I think that's really been awesome. It's kind of taken off, and I love for anyone that wants to just kind of learn or explore topics like on mental health and abundance and personal growth and development, emotional intelligence, stuff like that. I have a lot of amazing guests that I've been able to interview that really share insight and share their wisdom and knowledge on those certain topics. And so we get real, we drop down to the heart, we get open, completely vulnerable and transparent. And, I've received pretty cool feedback on that.
If you were going to inspire the younger generation, what would be the main focus? What advice would you give them?
Very good question. I would tell them to love themselves, to continue to look inside. The answers have never been external. They've always been internal. And also that the mind in this 3D reality and this experience is connected to the ego and the illusion of control. And it's also the ultimate trickster. And it's the on the complete opposite side of the spectrum of the heart. The heart is love, it's abundance, it's faith, it's our true essence, it's our spirit. And the mind is connected to fear and the illusion and the ego and trying to control that, giving you that illusion of control. And when it comes to living the biggest life that you can live, living the life of your dreams, you have to go down to the heart. Because anytime you step into the unknown, the mind in this 3D experience and this physical reality says, no, 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 that's scary, because it's in the unknown, it doesn't know. And so it brings up red flags. The mind always wants to feel safe and comfortable. So for the people that are listening and for the people that are dreamers and are going for their dreams, I tell you, continue going towards them. Anytime fear comes up, remember it's an illusion. It's not real. Danger's real, not fear. Fear is only created in the mind. And if you're able to go to your heart and keep having faith and believing in your vision and seeing your vision in your heart, eventually it'll manifest and it'll click, and then that fear will dissipate, and then you have arrived, and then it's like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. I earned it, and now what? Now what do I do? And that to me is the biggest thing. Is like this. I realized that life is all about awareness, and once you realize that this planet that we're on is floating in the universe with the sun that is riding with us, that never leaves us, that gives us life, it's a big playground. Mm-hmm. And on this big playground, there's people having the blast of their life. And then there's others that are even prisoners of their own mind and limitations. And everything in between. And everyone's on their own journey. So there's no judgment on that. Mm-hmm. I'm just here to share that if you're trying to look for answers, if you feel lost or confused or disconnected or alone, to get to know your heart and to let others into your heart as well. Vulnerability is the hardest thing to do, but it's kind of like Joseph Campbell and Bob Proctor say this: the cave you're afraid to enter holds the treasure that you seek. So the unknown are the other parts of you that you haven't experienced yet and discovered yet. And it's just a thin veil. The minute that you go past that fear and you get to that unknown and your heart puts light into that cave, you're able to see a lot clearly. And when you see clearly, you realize there was nothing to be afraid of from the beginning.
I love that. I really enjoyed it. It was great. It is. And there's things that are beyond our control, and the news that we're hearing right now, and there's people always taking sides, they have to take a side. And my take on that is, what about you just take the one side, and that's humanity?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the only side that anyone should actually take.
I do see an awakening of consciousness. And that gives me a lot of hope, because I'm having conversations with like 20-year-olds about love and community and like all the beautiful stuff. Right. And then I like snap out of it. I'm like, how old are you? And they're like, I'm 23, 24. I'm in the sauna or in the gym, whatever. And I'm like, man, you're giving me hope. You're giving me a lot of hope, because good. I feel that when we change our internal environment, the external environment changes. So if we were to all to focus on love and ourselves and do our part to grow and evolve and raise our awareness, then that will manifest on the outside, and then we'll continue to see that shift and that change, right? And I think that maybe that's what this journey is all about. To find our hearts and be connected with our hearts. We need more love.
We
And
need
I'll
more
tell you
love.
this, love wins.
Amen.
Love will win.
Yeah.
Hugs will win. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Not fighting, hugs, you know?
Martin Luther King, choose love. Hate is far too much of a burden to bear.
That's right. So everybody listen, love somebody. Love each other.
Are you going to break out into a song for me, David?
Well, you know, if I could sing, I would be glad to. I can't even do karaoke. I tried once and everybody ran outside. So that told me that I needed to work on it. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. But no. You know, I'm going to be honest. I love karaoke. I love singing. I just wasn't blessed with that gift. And it's okay.
Yeah, it is. But you love music though, right?
I do love music. I love music a lot. Music is the language, right? It's a universal language, right?
Yeah. Of love.
Yeah, there you go.
And expression.
Exactly. That's it. And we're all expressive beings. So we have to express in one way or another. That's another thing, right? When we don't get a chance to express and we suppress, that turns into depression and, anxiety and panic attacks because we're holding all that stuff in and it has to manifest somewhere, and that's usually going to be in the body. So that's another thing to talk about, right? We got to express. We're expressive beings.
Absolutely. So, David, tell us something about yourself that no one else knows.
I love karaoke. I love seeing people sing. I could just sit there and relax and just see karaoke and I'm smiling, I'm happy. And if sometimes it even feels like a talent show. You know what I mean? Like, it's so cool. That, and I also I love baseball. That was like my first passion is baseball. Mm-hmm. And so I love my baseball, and now I'm hooked on golf. So I think I'm addicted. I might have a problem. I love golf. I think about it. I watch it. I play it. Everything. Oh my God! I'm telling you, once you get it, you get hooked. Be careful. Be careful. But yeah, no. So I just love. I love that. That's what I love right now, and I'm loving my life right now. And I'm doing a big project that I'm working on, and we're knocking at the door. Let's hug a lot. Let's create beautiful memories, right? Because you never know when it's our time.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of positivity, a lot of just, things that make me feel good. Because when I feel good, I make other people feel good. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah, on Facebook, I'm the feel good. Twitter is political, but I don't always interact with that. I do sometimes when it gets to me. And then, but I know I was just with Yeniffer Behrens on Sunday, and we posted her choices video. We did a little thing. She gave me a t-shirt, earrings. She's lovely. I did a live stream with her and Mauricio, her husband, Mendoza.
I love Mauricio. I know them both. We've done. You know what's interesting? Let me tell you something about that. So my first independent movie, like 13, 14 years ago, was in Mexico, and it was called Confession of a Gangster. And that's where Yeniffer and Mauricio met, on that set.
So I was with Yeniffer Behrens on Sunday, and she says, I'm giving you this because this is where Mauricio, Mendoza and I first met on set.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Hey, who's that person in the middle? He seems like an amazing, cool dude.
That's David Fernandez Jr. And then we have Yeniffer Behrens is in this movie. And it's a great movie.
Yeah, they fell in love on set.
DVD.
They fell in love on set, yes.
They fell in love in the first place.
Right, exactly. I've been friends with them ever since. We've done several movies together.
Oh, they're beautiful.
It's really awesome, yeah. I mean, I've gone to their house and done their podcast or their show on 11/11.
Right.
Like, we really are good friends, so it's so cool. It's such a small world.
Isn't
such
it?
a small world. We're all connected,
just connected,
right?
with this. You're sitting in front of me, and she's just
giving
me this. And I'm like, I've just got that DVD from Yeniffer, and here it is.
Isn't that funny, all the synchronicities, right?
I know.
You're not going to like me in that movie, by the way. I'm not a big old teddy bear like I am right now in that movie.
That's okay. I know it's just a part that you're playing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
You
the
might get
trouble.
scared though. You might get scared and be like, man, David's mean.
No, I know too many people in the industry to know difference.
You already know.
Yes.
Exactly.
I've met a lot of actors and actresses, and I know who they are and who they play. It is two different things.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Usually, all the guys that play like the bad guys, right, in
They're
Hollywood,
good guys.
they're like the nicest guys, like Emilio Rivera, Danny Trejo, like the sweetest people, man.
Yeah.
Sweetest souls. It's funny how that works.
He's like, well, I like what you say, but I didn't like what you played, you know.
Yeah.
But it just shows also the talent that goes into that person, all their emotion, because they're able. You can't tell that when you can't tell someone's acting, that makes them a good actor. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I always get people that have watched End of Watch and know me from that movie. I always get this response, man, you're a really nice guy. And I think to myself, well, I don't know why it wouldn't be, but then obviously they've seen the movie, so they see how mean I am or whatever. But it's funny. It's funny. They're always like, man, I wanted you dead in that movie, but you're a really nice guy, so I don't want you dead anymore. I'm like, thank goodness. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Oh, funny. If this was the last time you were ever going to speak or be able to, what would you say?
You know what's interesting? I say something very similar on my podcast. I like your questions. We're in alignment. To answer your question, I love you.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's powerful. Because there's I love you, and then there's I love you. Yeah. It comes from the heart, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And felt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, David, have you got any last words for the audience that you'd like to say?
No, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And thank you, audience, for supporting Samantha and for listening to this podcast. Go for your dreams. Dream big. Live the best life that you can live. All right, let's do it. Let's go.
Let's do this. Follow David Fernandez Jr. on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and he's also on LinkedIn. Please go to his website, davidfernandezjr.com. Check out his podcast. He's on Spotify and Apple. You can find it on your website too. His reels on IMDb. You can check out his new stuff that's coming out. So he's an amazing guy. Please follow him. And all you great people out there, you know, check out his podcasts. And if David wants to interview you, say yes. And if I want to interview you, you say yes too. I'm joking.
I've interviewed Yeniffer and Mauricio, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, they're on my podcast. Awesome. It's all connected.
It's all connected. Oh. Yes, well, next time we have a meet and greet, I'll see you in Los Angeles.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you, sweetie. Take
care.
Thank
you, Samantha.
God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned for the sneak peek from next week's episode with Benny Alejandra.
I'm doing well. Thank you again, Samantha, for having me in your show.
Oh, you're welcome. So Benny and I first met on last Sunday. We went to the New Deal in Burbank with Safe Harbor Films, Tony A. Angelo, Tom Conkle, Vernon Wells, my friend Yeniffer, Behrens.
All right.
Checkbox
There's Safe Harbor Films, Pale Face. What was that Illuminati thing? Come with my business. I live in this.
So we had a lovely day, lovely meeting, and it was directors, producers, and filmmakers and actors. So it was awesome meeting you, Benny. And he was sharing a little bit about his background, because he was born in West Java Island in Indonesia, and then you did move to Los Angeles. So would you like to share a little bit about your story in Indonesia? And you've always been interested in film since you were younger.
Yeah, I was born in West Java Island in Indonesia, the city called Bandung. And I was always loved movies since I was 5 years old, more than anything kid like to do. Uh, so when I turned about 8 or 9, I convinced my parents, my fathers, uh, to bring me to Los Angeles so I can study and become, uh, filmmaker, in Hollywood. So since then, I've been studying film. I've been grabbed the camera since I was very young, even don't know how to use it, but I keep shooting anyway because I was so so into it, because to make how I can make movie. And back then, when I was growing up in Indonesia, uh, they don't have no film school, and nobody know about filming as much like in Los Angeles and stuff. They always have opportunity, place to go that you can learn and all that stuff. So I have always dreamed, come to Los Angeles uh, to become one of the filmmaker here in Hollywood.
I'm a bright star in the nighttime. I'ma go hard when it's my time.